Right, hi guys. Okay, so I've decided to do a little bit more on the label. Well, it's not the label tree anymore because it's not going to be a tree. It's going to be a label person um, because the other, well, I don't know if it was today or yesterday or wherever. Actually, I can't remember. But either today or yesterday, when I was looking at this again, for some reason I don't know. It just started looking like a person, and I started thinking about labels and labels in general, and I was thinking, do you know, that's part of what it's supposed to be about. It's not just like, um, label trees. I don't know if that's the right term for them, by the way, but you know, you get these. I call them label trees. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. They might be called label trees, and I don't know if you guys have come across them, but basically, like I said, or like I've explained before, they are trees. Sometimes they're real trees, actual trees. Sometimes they're fabricated. So they'll be made because sometimes they're indoors, sometimes they're outdoors. Either way, like I said, you get these labels. They usually have string on them. You tie them to the tree, and you write messages on them. Usually, they're messages of hope. Usually, messages of dreams. What you dream. What you would like to happen, or what you would like for the world, or yourself, or whatever. And like I say, I think that's what the term is, label trees. But anyway, like I say, the thing is, I was thinking about that because, like I say, I've got these little bunch of labels that I've shown you before, with all the different labels from clothes and different other items and stuff and what have you. And although there isn't any necessarily big names in there like Nike or Adidas or anything like that necessarily, because I can't afford those things necessarily. Sometimes I can, depending on where you go. Some shops and some stores you can get stuff like that at a bit more affordable prices than if you was to buy it from a more I don't know, from a more established or well-known chain or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, again, try not to get caught up in lots of other things as I usually do. And like I said, part of the work that I do is about trying to understand and try to kind of get away from labels a little bit, but not just get away from labels, because we can't really, not completely, because that's just human nature and the way the human mind and the human brain is constructed. That's how we navigate through our lives, and that's what nature gave us. We've got a brain that wants to compartmentalize everything, do you know what I mean? And it's just the way our brains are structured, do you know what I mean? That's how we work, navigate through the world, is to put things into boxes and give it labels so that we can understand it and that we can navigate through and so forth. Anyway, so in practical terms, we can't really do away with labels altogether, but it's about trying to understand the impact that those labels can have at times, and depending on the types of labels and what have you, sort of thing that we use, and I guess it's the context in which those labels are used and all that sort of thing. So I'm talking in general. I'm talking in terms of how we labelise people and ourselves and everything else. Well, no, maybe not everything else around us, but it's more about us as people and as individuals. And especially when some of those labels can be very negative. So like somebody with mental health issues, a label of they're mad, crazy, nutter, all those sort of things, very derogatory labels that we give and put on people. That's a black person, that's a white person, that's a conservative, that's a Democrat, this is, all the different labels, like I say, that we give each another, and sometimes those labels can be enabling and can be useful, but sometimes, or maybe a lot of the time, labels that are put on people are usually used in a very negative way, and put on a way as to, say, denote the other. Do you know what I mean? They're different from us somehow because we've given them this label. you know. And I suppose kind of like that seems to be a theme at the moment in my life at the moment, in terms of the work that I'm doing, and in terms of my own personal situation, in terms of having a label, you know, mental health label and what have you, sort of thing, and other labels as well. But the thing is that, like I say, you know, it's about raising awareness about it, and I suppose in some ways that's what I kind of want to do through my art project with this project. And so it seemed natural enough for me. I know this is long-winded. I can never tell a story very succinctly or you know, short. I'd be useless at trying to write a short story, because it'd be inevitably a very long story. But anyway, so like I said, I was looking at it and I was thinking, and then I started thinking, well, it's, you know, the tree. It's a metaphor maybe in some ways, but the thing is that I thought, no, it needs to be a person. Maybe because I was thinking I want to put these labels on, so that I put the labels on there. And that's the other thing as well. Instead of just those labels, I might leave some of the labels as they are, but some of the labels I might actually write on some of those labels the actual labels that we do use as in a negative way. So like crazy, nutter, bad person, I don't know, whatever sort of thing, whatever springs to mind at the time when I'm doing that part of the project. So anyway, sorry, something else had just popped into my head as I said that. I was thinking, there's a book, and again I did start this a little while back. There was a book that I was reading. I'm not even sure if I have it here, or is it back on the shelf in there? I think it's back on the shelf in there. And it's a book about doing a project for a year project that you set yourself, and you document it on a video. Anyway, again, I don't want to keep diverging too far off the point here. I'm trying to stay succinct and trying to stay within the context of what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so the thing is that, like I say, this book, year project. So it's just suddenly occurred to me as I was just saying that maybe I should make this into the project. Finally, I'm getting around to doing a project. It's taken me a long time to get around to doing any kind of creative project. But I think, like I said, I think what I'm going to do is I might actually turn this into, because so that's another thing with me is I'm not the most patient person in the world. I'm really not. And I'm trying to learn how to be more patient with both myself, with other people, and with just life in general. It's a very difficult and hard lesson for me to learn, to be quite honest. It is, because I don't know. Sometimes I feel there's a sense inside me, and this feels like a physical thing. It's not just like necessarily just in my head, but obviously the fact that I communicate and articulate using the grey matter that's up there, so essentially it is in my head in a way, but I also feel it in my body, and it feels very much, I feel the passage of time very acutely, and I feel it's really, really hard to try and find a way of articulating this, but basically I find it very, very difficult to slow down sometimes. I feel I need to do everything now. Do you know what I mean? Quick, let's do this. It needs to be done now. Now. Even though, in reality, I don't actually run my life necessarily like that, but in my head I certainly do. Anyway, like I say, the thing is that there's no reason why I shouldn't necessarily just slow this project. I don't have to slow it down, because I am busy doing other things. Like I say, I'll be working. Well, tomorrow I've got to go. Well, I don't have to go actually, but I'm choosing to go because I want to, because it's something that I co-founded, and it's very dear to my heart, and it's very important to me. And so tomorrow it's the Complex Needs Network meeting. and apparently we're going to have at least about 30 people coming this time. Maybe more, I'm not sure, but at least 30 people. It seems to be growing every time, and I co-founded this with John Connolly. And now we're getting commissioners and all sorts of people coming to this network, and it's all about frontline staff, and it's all about homelessness and mental health issues and addiction issues, and it's all about frontline staff working together, working from the same page, as it were. Do you know what I mean? And also networking with each other, and signposting each other to services that they might not be aware of that might help their clients. So anyway, so as I said, tomorrow I'll be going there. It's for 2 hours. Starts at 12, finishes at 2. So I'll definitely want to be going to that tomorrow. Because I have missed a couple for various different reasons at times, and like I say, I co-founded this thing, and it's just nice to be there and see how it's progressing, and you just get to meet some really interesting people as well. So again, I'm slightly digressing. So the thing is that, tomorrow I'll be doing that. Hope to get back in time enough to be able to do some more on this. So I'm going to try and do a video each day of doing some part of this project. So that's what I hope to start doing. And maybe I'll make this into this year project that I meant to start and did try to start. And a couple of videos, if you look back on some of my other videos, go back about, I don't know, maybe the middle of this year, or maybe even further back. I don't know, January, February, maybe about March, April, something like that. I'm not sure exactly, to be quite honest. But if you go check some of the later videos, you'll see that I was mentioning this book. I hold the book up to the camera. 365 day project thing. The book was given to me by John Connolly, by the way. And anyway, so like I say, I've been meaning to try, and I've had it for a good while now, maybe a couple of years, and I've been meaning to get on with something. And now, like I say, for some reason I found this creative spurt today. For some reason, all of a sudden I'm just like, that's why I've come back into my bedroom now, because I was checking out, see how that's getting on, see how it's drying. I'll show you in a second. I'll show you the base. In fact, I'll show you now. You remember I was doing the base for this, for the tree thing. So there you go. It's still quite wet at the moment. There's a lot of that wallpaper paste on there. It's quite heavy now as well, actually, I've noticed. Now, hopefully it'll dry out fully, because it's still a bit tacky, still a bit squishy. So I hope it doesn't stay like that, and it does get some more integrity to it once it dries out. I hope, anyway. Because now there is a bit of weight there, and maybe that's part of to do with the water that's still in the paste, because like I say, it's still quite damp and wet. So anyway, as I say, all being well, that will dry out nicely. It's also given me a good indication of how long this stuff takes to dry as well, actually, now. So I've got a good idea and a good sense of, like, this isn't going to dry extremely quickly. And and again, you see, that dovetails very nicely with what I was trying to say. I know I go around the houses, I know I waffle on about stuff, and I sometimes people might find it hard to follow my train of thought and what I'm trying to say, because my train of thought goes all over the place. But as I'm doing right now, but yeah, that goes back to what I was trying to say about patience and being patient. You see, the thing is, this is probably going to take longer than I expected, and part of me is so eager for you guys to see the finished project, to see it progressing and whatever, and not just for you guys, but for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like I want to finish it. I want to see what. It's a bit like, again, going back to that video, the one I was telling about, Dream, where she says, like, there's nothing more satisfying or gratifying than to see something that you conceived in your head at the finished article, sort of thing. And yeah, that's. But I need to slow it down. I need to be patient. That. Maybe. Anyway, so I'll put this to one side again for now. But yeah, so it's about learning a bit of patience, and maybe this is what this project's about. maybe ultimately, maybe that's why. Maybe things do happen for a reason. People say that. I'm not always sure necessarily, and it depends on what they mean by things happen for a reason. But yeah, maybe that's why I've got this creative spurt on now, because maybe there's a part of me saying, like, you know what, we need to try and learn a bit of patience here, because sometimes I get a little bit het up at times and a little bit frustrated, especially when I'm out and about and in public, and you know, especially within the tube system, but not just the tube system, but on buses and just out and about in queues and all sorts of things. London is a very, very hectic city. It can be at times very hectic, and you know, the thing is, I need, for my own sake, to try and learn how to be a little bit more tolerant, patient, calmer. You know, so, and maybe this is a good project to help me to learn that, because I really want to do this now, and I'm really excited. That's why, like I said, I've come back in here, because I was going to leave it until tomorrow, but because I got so fired up and I'm so excited about, you know, the little bit that I've done so far and what have you, that it was like, even though I was in there and I was, after I've uploaded the other videos and I'm watching some stuff on YouTube and what have you, my head was still back in here. My head was in here. I'm trying to watch stuff on there. I'm trying to do what I'm doing on the thing there, but my head is in here, going, oh, I wonder if it's dry yet. And oh, come on, can we do some more? I want to let's get some more paste out. Let's do some more stuff on with the paper mache. You know, I can't wait to get my hands dirty again. I can't wait to get in there and start doing more. But you know, the thing is that the way it is, it has gone a little bit soggy kind of thing. I've got to remember, this is cardboard, you know what I mean? It's very thin cardboard as well. I mean, these tubes, the big ones anyway, they're paper towel, you know, kitchen towel, kitchen roll, that you use to dry your plates up with, or wipe your counters down with. That's what I use it for. Well, all sorts of stuff really. That as well though. And so they're quite thin. They're quite thin pieces of cardboard. And the thing is that, you know, with all that wallpaper paste and the water in it and all that, it's gone quite soggy. So I need to give it a chance to dry, because if I start putting any weight on it and stuff, it might start to buckle and so forth, and then the whole project goes down the pan, as it were. So to try to avoid that, I've just got to try and be patient and let it dry. So anyway, but in the meantime, I thought to myself, what I could do possibly in the meantime is, because like I said, and again I've just realised how I've taken about 25 minutes just to explain the most simplest little thing, in terms of like it's not being a tree anymore. I decided that it should be a person. Now I'm not about to perhaps create an actual representation, an actual figure. I mean, I could probably do that, but it might take, one, might take even longer. Two, I'm just not that confident about my own technical abilities to be able to do that. Maybe I could. I don't really know. And unless you try, you don't really know. But again, for me, it was more about representation rather than reality. You know what I mean? Rather than it being realistic. Because again, I don't want to take away from the message about the label side of things. So it'll be a human representation, but not necessarily an actual realistic representation. So anyway, so I was thinking about my masks, and you know, I've got one on the wall there, and I bought these from a craft place, well, art shop actually, but it's got a craft department downstairs as well. And these masks, you can buy them, they're £2.45, which is not bad. I mean, it's cardboard again, but it's, you know, quite rigid. You know, I think these are actually moulded, but I'm not sure. They could be moulded. You know, again, almost like the paper mache thing, but more, obviously, an automated system that creates them. Anyway, sorry, I'm doing it again, aren't I? You see how my mind works. You see how it works. It's like, you know, I'll be thinking about something or talking about something, and then my head will be whatever it is I'm doing, and then I'll suddenly think of something else. Something else will pop in my head, and I'll have this question in my head like, oh, I wonder how these are made. All right, I wonder if it's. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, like I said, that hopefully, because I started looking at this, like I said, and I thought they looked more like arms. Somebody's arms sort of stretched out in some way. And so I thought, what I'll do is I'll place this on here at some point. Not sure exactly how I'm going to attach this yet, but again, we'll get round to that when I come to it. And again, those arms might change position. I'm not sure if they're that. I want to look a little bit more. Even though it's going to be representational, I still want it to look slightly human looking. And so to some degree, some realism in the way the arms are articulated, if you like. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just sort of, because I don't think. In fact, looking at, I'm pretty sure I can't. In fact, there's no. I'm just sorry. I'm trying to work out how. I'm trying to copy how that would look if that's the person's. If that's their shoulder, and then that's that part of the arm, and this is the forearm here, then how the heck would that be? I don't know if I've got that right or not. I have no idea. But it doesn't really look as if a human being could possibly get into that position. So those positions and the way the arm is might change slightly. But then again, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it, because again, it is supposed to be representation, not necessarily realistic in that sense. But anyway, so like I say, that's what I'm going to do. And I think what I'm going to do now is, because part of me wants to get this done as well, I'm going to paint the face. I'm going to paint the mask whilst I let that dry. So that's what I'm going to do next. Now, of course, I've just spent about, I don't know, I am, you remember what I was saying on one of my other videos about how I'm usually quite very good at guessing time. Like I say, I've got a thing about time and the passage of time and time passing. Now, I'm not saying that I'm unique to this. There may be millions of other people that feel the same way. I'm sure there are. I'm just saying that for me, I do feel that I feel very acutely the sense of the passage of time. Don't know why that is, but I've had it for as long as I can ever remember. Do you know what I mean? And as I get older, to be quite honest, I feel it more and more acutely as I get older. It doesn't seem to get any less. It actually seems to get, in the last few years, feels to me that it's increased. This sense of I can feel time passing. I think that's another reason why I really struggle around not doing anything. Because yes, although as I said to you, I can be quite lazy, and sometimes I can get quite, when I'm stuck indoors and I'm not out and about and I'm not doing something, I'm not working, I can become quite lethargic, quite, I can get into that sense of like, what's the point? Oh, I'm just going to laze around, I'm not going to do anything. Get very morose, do you know what I mean? I do, I get very, very morose sometimes, and the thing is that, I hate that. I really hate being like that. I really don't like it, because the thing is, I get that real sense of the passage of time, and time passing me by, and time just being wasted, and nothing productive being done or achieved, it's just like it's almost like a very negative cycle where, I feel and sense that very acutely, but instead of trying to do something about it, it just makes me feel even worse, because I feel guilty for not doing anything. I feel guilty for lazing around. So that makes me want to just curl up and into a little ball and run away from the world even more. And the thing is that, like, obviously that's really, really counterproductive. But like I say, I just this real great sense of the passage of time. It's almost like I feel it in a physical sense. Now, I don't know if that makes any sense to people, but it certainly makes sense to me, and that's the way. It's the only way I can express it to you. It's almost like a physical sense. I can feel it in a physical way, like almost. I don't know. I can't find another way of explaining it. It's really, really difficult to try and find other words that might convey what I'm trying to say and how it actually feels in that sense. But anyway, so Right, now, I was going to say about how long this video was. You see how I just go off on all sorts of tangents and all sorts of things. But right, so anyway, I'm going to try and paint this mask. I don't think I'll carry on filming this bit because video's gone on forever already. But I don't know, shall I carry on videoing? Shall I not? I mean, I don't know. Do you know what? I'll tell you what. For the moment, I'm going to leave it. But at some point, I get a sense, I get a feeling that I probably will at some point. I will stop the video at some point because I'll become conscious of it or something. I'll become conscious of how long it is, or the battery will run out, or the memory will run out, or something. So wow, I can't find a brush I want. Oh, sorry. A lot of brushes there, and I've got even more up there. You can never not have enough brushes. If I said that right. No, that's not. Hang on. That's a 0 and all. Why? Oh, that seems a bit. I don't know why that's like that. Anyway, maybe that one. I could have swore I had a better one than that. Right. You see, now that I've stopped waffling, and I'm just trying to... See, this is why I'm saying sometimes when you're making videos, and especially if you're trying to do something, demonstrate something, or whatever, I know how YouTube works. I know how the what's name works. That, like, at the end of the day, if you're trying to do any kind of videos like that, of course, sometimes things are going to get boring for people. Nobody's going to want to sit there whilst I'm just waffling on and piddling about doing whatever I'm doing. It's going to be boring for people. I'd probably find it boring, if I was to watch a video like that. So anyway, right, let's put all these back. I think I've got the brushes that I want for now. Just wish it hadn't taken me so long to find them. Right, let's get them in. Blah, 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 blah. Come on. Right. Okay. Do you know, it's funny as well, I was just thinking as I'm sat here doing this. It's another thing about this project as well, is that I love painting. I do love painting. I love to paint. I find it the most relaxing thing in the world. Although, like that other quote by that female artist, the thing is, the process is a double-edged sword in some ways, because sometimes, although it can be cathartic and amazing, and the whole process can be just fantastic, but it can also create anxiety and fear and all the other stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? So it is a double-edged sword in some ways, but I think ultimately it's something worth doing. And the thing is, it's like, I've heard other artists say this, and the reason why I'm hesitating is because I'm questioning whether I really subscribe or to adhere to this, what they say. I like to think I do, but there's a part of me that's very like thinking maybe you don't necessarily, but that it's not just about wanting to paint, but it's a need, and it's a bit like it says in that video again, where it says your art feeds you, and it does. I totally do agree with that. It definitely feeds me. It helps me to feel better. It helps me to feel better about myself. It helps me to feel better about the world. I do. I love art. And being creative. It's the only thing I was any good at ever at school, or throughout my life. It's the only thing that I've ever had any kind of real success at, really, one way or another. Right. Again, I'm going into all this deep flipping stuff, and I don't know why I do that all the time. Right, now, okay, the thing is, this now might take me a few moments to decide what colours I'm going to use, what colours I need, and I'm thinking I really need to stop the video because you guys will be sat there thinking, oh, for God's sake, come on, do something, or whatever. So I'm definitely going to stop the vlog for now. Once I start painting, I might then start again and you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'll leave it there for the time being. So catch you later. Bye for now.